しい心なんて俺には必要ない文強くにまみれてる正義も信じないやがたの命を刈り取りかつては夜空を焦がしていたあの日の夢を取り戻す I am a class of mercenary 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 仲間がいれば俺は最強だどんな偉大ももう恐れないぜ偽善者はこれからだ We're a class A guild and mercenaries 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 嵐の空真っ赤な大地この蒸気船でどこまでも We're a class A guild and mercenaries We're a class A guild and mercenaries We're a class A guild and mercenaries優しい心なんて俺には必要ない文強くにまみれてる正義も信じないやがたの命を刈り取りかつては夜空を焦がしていたあの日の夢を取り戻す I am a class of mercenary 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 仲間がいれば俺は最強だどんな偉大ももう恐れないぜ偽善者はこれからだWe're a class A guild and mercenaries We're 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 a class A guild and mercenaries 嵐の空真っ赤な大地この蒸気船でどこまでも We're a class A guild
Hi, hello everybody, it's me, Ezekiel Maxwell, your Class A Mercenary VTuber. Hope you're all doing well today. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Hello to all of you, those of you watching the stream live, and those of you watching the stream VOD afterwards. Thank you all so much for tuning in. So, yeah. Today's Tuesday, which means we're returning to Final Fantasy XIV Online, the Dawntrail main story quest, the content that came out after the final quest of the... Well, I'm sure many of you probably already know exactly what I'm talking about. So, how is everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. For myself, I am very proud of myself today, and I will tell you why. The reason why I'm proud of myself is because I managed to fix one of my trucks at work. See, I've got this Durapatch truck. It's a truck that has like a hopper on the back for little gravel-sized pieces of rock. And then behind that is a tank for oil. And next to the tank of oil, there's like this big old engine and an industrial blower, and I can use it to patch potholes by turning the engine on, and it'll start blowing air out the hose, a little hose on the side. And then I have a lever for opening it up for oil, and then I have a little toggle switch that I can turn on for rock. So the problem was that we were not really getting enough air. Hi, Biscuits, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So, as I was saying, the truck was not really getting enough air as it was, and the mechanic and I were trying to figure things out this morning, and then you're fine. How's my face? I thought I got away without a scratch, Biscuit, but unfortunately I do have a little bit of a scratch on my forehead. It just goes to show how hard-headed I can be. Yeah, but no, I'm lucky, and I'm thankful to God that I got away with just that little scratch. You know, it could have been a lot worse. It could have knocked me out. It could have been bleeding. It could have been all sorts of stuff, but honestly, I'm just thankful to God that it wasn't anything worse. And it's just a constant reminder that I need to wear my hard hat and my PPE, my personal protection equipment, when I'm out there on the job. And hopefully I can remember to wear it next time I'm out there. Hello, Celesteria Omne! Here to lurk during D&D. Can't hear, but you are here. Thank you, Celeste. Alright. So as I was saying, agreed. You now have a rugged facial scar from your mercenary work. Okay, but as I was saying, so yeah, we weren't really getting the air pressure in the machine that we were supposed to be getting. So as I was messing around near the hopper, trying to get rock out of there to try and clean out the pipe for the rock delivery system, I could feel a gust of air. So I followed the gust of air that I was feeling towards the back, and I found out something. So there's a pipe that leads underneath the industrial blower, and that pipe connects to a silencer or a muffler at the midpoint of the truck. Nice. Thank you for celebrating that 3-stream streak. But yeah, there's a little hose that goes between the pipe and the muffler, and apparently due to vibrations caused by the machine running, the hose came off the connection to the muffler and ended up kind of tucking itself in, and we just weren't getting the air. So the mechanic and I got underneath the vehicle, we loosened the hose clamps, and he managed to get the thing back on. We retightened the hose clamps, we put everything back together, and suddenly it was like we had all the air pressure in the world. The thing was running at about 900 RPM, rotations per minute, but it may as well have been running at 2,500 because of the sheer amount of power we were getting from that air. And everything was just going through so smoothly, it made the rest of the day that much easier. And on top of that, with the power that we were getting, I was using a lot less oil and a lot less rock to patch potholes with. So yeah, I am very proud of myself. I'm calling myself a mechanic now, Or as I like to say, I am Mecha Nick now. Mecha Merc Nick. There we go. That's better. Mecha Merc Nick. Wait. But my name's not Nick. Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll work out. So, yeah, before we get this stream started, we are playing Final Fantasy XIV Online Dawntrail today. Let me go ahead and do a short opening prayer, and then we will get started. Heavenly Father, we come before you to ask you for your blessing upon this stream. Please just let us be able to get through this, and let us be able to honor you with the stream. Allow me to provide wonderful content in your honor, and allow me to draw any and all viewers that come to watch the stream today closer to you, Lord. In your heavenly name I pray. Amen. Alright. So for those of you who may not remember, the eternal version of XIV seems to have disappeared, leaving behind a crown, which was actually a regulator. The regulators are what the people of this place where Alexandria, where that houses stored souls that they can use to revive themselves with, but also can wipe their memory in the event that someone dies. So we're currently dealing with the eternal version of XIV, and I can't remember the other guy's name. He was wearing a lab coat and seemed to have like a perpetually unhappy face, I guess I would say. And they were going to turn about 5,000 people into Endless. And so we were trying to get to the bottom of it, when suddenly the security forces of Alexandria went rogue and started attacking people. Well, we started looking into it, and we found out that the people that were getting attacked by the security forces were actually people that were not wearing regulators. So it was like, huh, people without regulators are being specifically targeted. Wonder why? Well, as it turns out, it may very well be to drive fear into the hearts of people and make them get regulators. So, yeah. Anyhow, recently we just got done dealing with another set of rogue security forces that were going to attack a mother and child in the apartment complex area. We managed to save them, but unfortunately one person did die, and now we're going to return to what we were doing. So let's go ahead and exit the building here. Mexazik. Mexazik. Hello, friend person. I'm guessing they're doing the same thing I am right now. You see no sign of Geode. Perhaps you should search further to the east. Yeah, I guess this other person here is doing the quest too. Meow. Hello, Vixen. Good to see ya. So these Jamokes are running an old school protection racket with a false flag twist. Yes, with the idea that they want everyone they can to become endless, but here's the catch. In order for someone to become endless, they need a constant supply of energy. And as we all know, for those of you who've been paying attention, the original world got split up into 13 reflections. And the idea is, in order to get that life force, the eternal version of XIV and that other guy need to break into the other versions of the world and harvest life force of other people by killing them. So, we're going to try and stop them from doing that. Let's see if we can't find Geode. You see no sign of Geode. Wayakwe's voice crackles forth from the communicator. 13? Like Final Fantasy 13? The one with the only good-looking protagonist? I mean, there's plenty of them that could be considered good-looking. I mean, Yuna from Final Fantasy X wasn't too bad. Geode! Geode, answer me! There is no response. Perhaps you should continue your search further to the east. Actually, I was going to mention something about that. So, for those of you who aren't aware, there was a Final Fantasy fighting game that was released not too long ago on like certain handheld portables and in arcades called Final Fantasy Dissidia. And it seems that a new iteration is coming out where the main battlefield will be Japan. And the how about Terra? I guess Terra's alright if that's your thing. But yeah, I mean, Terra was alright. But yeah, the new Final Fantasy Dissidia that's coming out, the main battle place will be Japan, and I am expecting that Final Fantasy XIV Online will eventually do a collaboration with Final Fantasy Dissidia, and we might get to see Lightning come back. After all, there was a collaboration event years ago with Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning Returns. So, yeah, maybe we'll get to see the return of Lightning and Noctis and the rest. There is no response, but oh, right, I've already read that. Bloop. And no homo, but Cecil just... Yeah, I know. Cecil, especially in his paladin form, was a pretty good looking guy. He had the hair. The man had hair. Ew, what? No, seriously, look at the artwork for Final Fantasy IV Cecil. You need to pick up Final Fantasy 13, but you can't justify it right now. Tell you what, wait for me to get this next paycheck here in a couple days, and then I will go ahead and get it for you, if you want me to. Just putting the offer out there. You see no sign of Geode. The neighboring residential radius would be the next logical place to look. Where is Geode? Hey, Candlemaker. There's Geode, but what's he doing?
This is the only place left. Let them be safe.
Maybe when it's on sale.
Geode, are you there? Answer me, please!
I'm here. Sorry for the long silence. I've been busy.
Oh, you're alive! Thank the gods! Where are you now?
The radius next door. The lobby is secure. I'll scout the second floor. Then I'll join it.
It stole his soul. Her soul.
That dust.
So that explains it. We keep seeing at all the sites of the attacks, right? We kept seeing people turning into white dust with no explanation why. And now we know. The security forces that have gone rogue are taking the souls of people who have been killed. They're replenishing their supply of souls, spare souls. An AI doing its Amazon job? If Amazon was in the market of stealing people's souls, actually that might not be too far off from the truth. But that explains why people were turning into white dust.
Dust? What are you talking about? What's happening?
They're not just collecting souls. They're draining the bodies of corporeal ether.
Oh, okay. So it's not just souls after all. Did I ever tell you about Amazon's hiring process alone? No, you have not. So everyone and everything in each of the worlds has either in it. Either is like air. It is a source of energy that comprises all living things in the world of Final Fantasy XIV. So apparently, these rogue security forces are not just harvesting people's souls, they're actually harvesting their ether too. And that was a person without a regular
Dust
too.
that we saw was all that was left of the victims. They must have modified the soul cells. Shit.
Oh, he's out of ammo.
Damn you! You can't be here! You need to run, now! A trap!
They... Oh... Dang! Oh, Geode.
Take care of the others, eh?
No! Geode! I didn't mean to predict your death last time. Come on! No, please let me get there in time to save him. I didn't get there in time to save him, did I?
No sign of him so far. This way, maybe?
I doomed him. There's his gun.
Geode!
We all know Final Fantasy XIV kills off characters like how you make viral tweets on Twitter. No, Geode. Please let him still be alive. Please let him still be alive. No. Geode. They took his soul and his ether.
A shame. I had hoped to leave here with at least one more cell's worth of ether. But seeing how eager you are to interfere, I shall cut this foray short.
Calyx. What could you possibly stand to gain from these atrocities?
Ether sufficient to generate 5,000 endless. How would you acquire it?
How would I?
Until I have the key, the reflections are closed to me. Thus do I make do with the sources at hand.
You.
7% of Alexandria's current population will yield the energy to convert 5,000 into endless. With 11%, operations could continue unabated for 800 years.
You only see them as a source of fuel. As a source of energy. They're living, breathing people. How could you?
Our bodies are fated to decay sooner or later. These ones refuse the gift of eternal life, so what difference does it make if I return them to Ether now?
That's not your call to make. Their lives are theirs to do with as they please. You don't get to make the shots. You don't get to make the calls.
I will not waste time and resources on meaningless conflict. This unit cannot offer you worthwhile resistance.
So what, I'm supposed to let him
Instead,
go?
I pose a question. Would you hand over the key if I promise to halt my harvest?
A trade, huh? And what guarantee do I have that you're gonna uphold your end of the bargain? Are you telling me the truth? I don't think you are. You would only seek other victims.
It was foolish of me to even ask. I return to my work then. There is much to do if I must take the key by force.
He's just handing over the fuel cell like that? Geode. I need to stop Calyx. This pile of dust, these ashes, and the soul cell he left behind. Was that his twisted way of returning Geo to us? Darn you, Calyx. Darn you and your careless cruelty. He was our friend. Even so, some might say every death was justified if it meant 5,000 endless could continue their immortal lives. And if a reflection soul in ether allowed for many more endless, why, that too would be a noble sacrifice for the greater good. Screw the greater good! Who could think that? Exactly. We're talking about human lives here. Living, breathing humans. People who wake up every day. They get out of bed and they go about their lives, making connections, doing their best. Give the key to Xenos? Xenos is no more. Anyways, I can't let this continue. I gotta take down Calyx. Yeah, your boy, he did. At the end of Endwalker, he wanted one final duel, and I defeated him at the very edge of the universe. And that was it. And he chose not to come back. Not I. Certainly not I. We know only too well There is not noble in this sacrifice. We have to stop him. We have to find Calyx and put an end to this madness as soon as possible. And under no circumstances can we let the key fall into his possession, Ezekiel. Trust me, I have no intention of letting him have it. It falls to us. We will thwart his plans here in Alexandria before he can terrorize innocents and reflections elsewhere. We should return to the back room. Shale and the others need to know what happened. Yes, I'll ask Wayakwe to meet us there as well. It's true though, he didn't have to hand over Geode's soul like that. He killed Geode to make a point.
Our dear Geode.
Can I poke the soul cell with a phoenix down? No. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You need to have a corporeal body. The ether and the soul must still be in the corporeal body when it dies, in order for a phoenix down to work. But corporeal body is no longer an option. Geode has been reduced to dust, to ash. And what Shale's holding is all that's left. There is no bringing him back.
The soldiers. If only I'd been able to control them.
This isn't your fault, Gololja. The blame lies with Calyx, and with him alone. It's all so senseless. Why force his plans upon us when we're already happy? Living our lives. What does he even think life is? I'll never forgive Calyx for doing this. Or myself for being powerless to stop him.
Did it with my bare fists.
You have bare fists?
Okay,
Yeah,
alright, time to retire. It's time to leave, John. We need to...
Hi, Creeper, and hi, Zine. Hope you two are doing well.
Wait, where are you going?
To clear my head. Don't worry. I won't do anything stupid.
Stay here and get some rest. I'll make sure Nostalgia stays out of trouble.
Thank you.
Things would have been far worse if you and Geode hadn't rushed in there. Many people are still alive because of you. And after adding what you discovered to the leads we've dug up, I'm hopeful we can determine where Calyx is hiding. But not right now. We need time before we can move on. Just a little time.
Still here, still can't hear.
Still here, still can't hear. Oh.
Oh, good. All right. Another comrade gone. Some days it's almost more than I can bear. Geode was an older brother to nostalgia and me. Shale knew him longer, though, and is surely taking it the hardest. And that's on top of what happened with Kazuya. Do you think you could check on her? See how she's doing? She's like to put on a brave face if it's me or my sister. I guess Geode is this version's Harchevant. Apologies, my mind was elsewhere. We need to press on with the hunt for Calyx, but I can't seem to focus. I should be better than this, I know. As you said, you need time to work through it. You're right. I ought to heed my own words. As it stands, I'm of no use to anyone. Kazuya used to say the best thing to do with grief was to let it all out. So, I think I'll take myself over to Earth and Sky and say my goodbyes to Geode. Why don't you come along? I could use someone to blubber to if you've shoulder to spare. Right then, let's get out of Everkey for a bit. It's a fair trek on foot, so I've arranged for a couple of air-wheelers. They've had their communication modules removed, so even Calyx shouldn't be able to seize control of them. Say the word and we'll set off. Ready? We'll be flying close to the pylon, so follow my lead. Dang! Now I really want one of these. You think they have prototypes of those now, but they are loud? Yeah, I imagine. Phew, that helped clear my head a touch. You know, Ezekiel, you might be the first person I've ridden with who wasn't an Oblivion recruit. As far as I remember, at least. The memories from my regulator days aren't exactly reliable. Come on, let's head inside. Hopefully the way will be clear of pests today. Nope, no such luck. Just trying to be annoying while your party searches for a Duger in Skullport. I have no idea what a Duger is. No idea what a Duger is, lol. Thanks. We can usually avoid such encounters, but sometimes they wander in and block the only path. Not that it slowed you down at all. I've never seen you fight up close before, and the surveillance feed clearly did not do it justice. Ahem. Hopefully that keeps the route clear for a while, shall we? A dwarf from the Underdark.
Whenever we lost a comrade, the three of us would come back here to reminisce. Me, Geode, and Kafkiwa. Will you raise a glass?
Of course I will. To Geode's memory.
Oh!
What are the two of you doing here?
Oh, Biscuit's explaining how to make a candle. Okay, so you can use a mold, like a tube or a jar, to form the wax, and you can dip the wick in hot wax a bunch of times to build up layers, or you can take a sheet of softened wax and roll it around the wick.
I had a feeling you'd show up. Would you like to join us?
I suppose I could spare a moment. They tell us Oblivion's founders disappeared some decades ago under mysterious circumstances. And it was Kafkiwa who revived our organization. You and Geode helped her with that, didn't you? Tell us more about it. You're keen to know too, right? What they were like back then. The mad things they got up to. That sort of thing.
Normally I wouldn't be nosy, but...
Those were the days. It was actually right before the Reformation that I met Geode.
And you want a specially made self-trimming wick, which is braided so that the business end curls as it burns, which prevents you from having to manually trim it all the time. More on this as your research continues.
I still wore a regulator then. I had recently lost someone close to me. And also quit a long stint as an adapter to work at a bar of all places. It paid me to sit with patrons and keep them company.
Oh, that kind of bar.
So Geode came in one night It wasn't long before we got into an argument. First-time customer, but tempers flared. And then one of us threw a punch.
You got into a fist fight? What were you even arguing about?
Damned if I know. We were deep in our cups. I think we were both just frustrated and angry at everything.
Company, yeah.
By the end of it, we were both sprawled out in the street. Pair of drunken fools. Then this odd machine stopped to lecture us, scolding us for obstructing the foot traffic and not taking better care of ourselves.
I can't imagine you ever being in such a sorry state.
And take a drink of water.
The odd machine. That was Kafkiwa, I take it.
That it was. Once she was done upbraiding us for our unseemly behavior, she launched into a recruitment pitch.
Upbraiding? That's a new term for me.
Kafkiwa explained that she wanted to protect the outside world from Zoralja's invasion, to keep him from bringing ruin to the place her beloved son lived. And if we were so intent on self-destruction, then perhaps we might consider risking our hides for a just cause. It was a lot to take in. I hadn't given much thought to what lay beyond the barrier, and learning that Kafkiwa herself was already dead was enough to make my head spin. But Geode and I were intrigued by her ideas, and wanted to see this future of hers come to pass.
Geode often spoke of it. He told me that meeting Kafkiwa was what first taught him the value of remembering people.
Like he was sharing a holy revelation.
Oh, but back then you hadn't yet taken on Oblivion's name, had you?
Is that so? I just assumed.
It hadn't been Kafkiwa's intention to carry on Oblivion's legacy, nor adopt the cause your parents championed. Not initially, at least. She wasn't even aware such an organized resistance existed. She did, however, suspect the presence of other dissidents. Those who objected to resurrecting the memories of the dead in defiance of the natural order. In the hopes of identifying like-minded comrades, we began searching the core system for traces of unauthorized access. And that's how we found it. An anomalous sector in the back of the Neon Stein. According to Melancholy, the door to that mystery had remained firmly shut since she took over the business.
The back room.
The back room. We forced our way in, only to discover that the hideout had long been abandoned. Although the occupants were gone, the equipment they'd left behind contained records of a group calling itself Oblivion. After reading through their exploits and their vision for the future, we made the decision to carry on their work.
Thus were my parents' and Kafkiwa's hopes bound together.
And carried onward by Shale and Geode.
We could never have made it this far on our own, of course. Not without the strength of arms you and your friends provided. Losing comrades is a hard thing, but being here, thinking back on the moments we shared, I could see their smiles, hear their laughter. I feel their presence, and I know they're still with us. But these memories of mine are for me alone. Reminders of why I chose to do this, and why I'll stay the course. Right. Time we got back to work. Thank you, everyone.
No, it's me who should be thanking you. Though the pain is still deep, I don't feel like I'm drowning in it anymore. Let's get out there and put a stop to Calyx. For you, for me, and for everyone who's ever believed in Oblivion.
I appreciate you helping me through this. My eye. And not only the grief, you've helped me see that my comrades mean even more to me than I realized, which only fuels my determination. I'll be spending every waking moment working to bring Calyx to account for his crimes. I'll do my part, then you do yours. Oblivion needs you. It's time I went back to locating Calyx's lair. I have a new strategy in mind, but it remains to be seen if it will aid in narrowing down the possibilities. I'll ask Cryle for help. I want to re-examine the data, starting with that of her parents. After all, they were the first to break away from preservation and establish an organized resistance with Oblivion. There must be something in there that can be point us in the right direction. What are your plans, Ezekiel? Ezekiel, is that you? Apologies for calling suddenly. I've been making the rounds in the outskirts, and I cannot help but feel as though something's amiss. Might I ask you to join me? Your perspective would be most appreciated. It can wait until you finish attending to Shale, of course. It seems your plans... Oh, hang on. My eye. It seems your plans have been decided for you. Go on. I have others to speak with before I return to the back room. Yeah, I rubbed my eye and suddenly I've got something in my eye. Some kind of dust or dirt that I had on my hand. Which is weird because I washed my hands the moment I got home. Well, I still don't have flight in this area. So it looks like I'm going to be driving all the way there. I'm so glad I had this guild-issued car. Right, I gotta go all the way over there to cross over. Ezekiel, thank you for coming. As I mentioned, I would benefit from your worldly experience. Perhaps it's my imagination, but the townspeople appear to be acting oddly. That is, even considering the current state of affairs. As I am yet unfamiliar with the outskirts, I thought you might be better equipped to judge if their behavior is unusual or not. Would you speak with them and see what you think? Though I hope to be proven wrong, I fear something's not right here. Back to the MMO, eh, Zeke? Hey, Nomi. Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. Yep. I'm pushing through with more Final Fantasy XIV. And a Class A Merc is cruising around in style. I should have known. Hey, Lake. Good to see ya. Yes, I love this one. Oh, please tell me you brought more Neo-regulators. Officially, they've all been handed out already, but I've heard rumors that there were a few left over. Surely the government still has some. Or perhaps Queen Sphene. I may not look it, but I was a hunter once. Back then, I hardly gave death a second thought, but now I know the truth. It's all I can think about. There has to be a way to hold on. There has to. Oh my god. I forgot the people here are so deathly afraid of death. Greetings. I remember when you visit with Queen Sphene. Come to check on our well-being, have you? Well, I can say that things are rather stressful here as well. Without knowing if or when our machinery might turn murderous, the specter of death is ever present. People are terrified, and the clamor for neo-regulators has reached a fever pitch. I, personally, was fortunate to have claimed a new device early on, and have long since completed the registration. Death has no hold over me now. So the regulator isn't used to contain the soul on death? So yes, it is. When a person finally dies, the regulator will absorb their soul, and then the soul will be processed to separate the memories from it. But it's also used to hold souls. Now, I must begin my prayers. The darkness draws closer, grows deeper, and we must cast it out. Pepoani, you need God for that, not a regulator. How'd they get geodes? Well, as you may remember from the beginning of the stream, the security personnel, the robots, over in Solution 9 went haywire and started attacking people again. And like I said, they were specifically going after people who did not have regulators. So, Geode responded to one of the apartment complexes to try and save whoever he could, but he was a little too late, and he encountered somebody that had already been turned to dust by one of them. Then he saw what looked like an old man wandering around, and the security forces robots were going to... So the security forces robots were going to go after the old man. So Geode stepped in and went to go save him, but it turned out that that old man was actually a security robot in disguise, being controlled by Calyx. It was then that Geode was surrounded by multiple security robots. And yeah, they got him before we could save him. That's how they got Geodes. Oh, but wait. Now I remember. You were asking if the regulator... Oh, but Geode wasn't wearing a regulator. That's how they got him. They had to use another method. You're not wearing a regulator? Don't you know the end is coming? Well, it's your life to lose. Me? I got myself one of those Neo regulators and registered a little while ago. As soon as I did, a display appeared showing the number of registered users. Right now, it's sitting at 4,168. The upper limit was 5,000, wasn't it? It seems the total shot up right after those machine malfunctions. It's only a matter of time before everyone's registered. So they have tech that does the same thing? Yeah, by force. That's actually the tech that they used back in Tulio Law when the lizard guy attacked us. I pity those who weren't chosen, but I'm gonna be an endless. I'm gonna evolve and live happily ever after. I don't think this is gonna be what you think it is, friend. So, what do you think? Was I right to worry? Tensions are running high. Yes, that is exactly it. People are overwhelmed by uncertainty and fear, and with each new registration, that fear inside them grows more insistent. How long until it drives them to full-blown panic? Ezekiel, can you come to resolution? We have a problem. I'm right here with Lama T and Alphano. It sounds like she wants us there in a hurry. We should go. I think I know what we're about to find. There's probably people that are going to be fighting over the Neo regulators. Or not? What is?
What's happened? Sorry to drag you out here, but I thought it best you see for yourself.
Death is your constant companion. Though you toil with diligence, death may come ere your reward is bestowed. Though your grand works be poised for completion, death may come ere you wake the following morn. Though you enjoy a life of peace and good fortune, death needs but one instant to claim you. Your bodies are weak. Your heart, your brain, every fragile organ rolls the dice from moment to moment. Sheer chance deciding if they function or fail. Be you stoic or generous or righteous, no virtues tip the scales in that fatal reckoning. The choice is made without reason. The end is cloaked in terror. That is what it means to die.
The announcement began after we finished our meeting with Gossen. As for its source, well...
Calyx. There is no shame in being afraid. It is that very fear which will drive you to conquer death. Let us set a new course for mankind. Let us preserve our existence unto perpetuity.
So these people think they're going to get uploaded to the cloud, but you're surmising that they're really going to get used as fuel to maintain the existence of already existing endless. Well, that is one theory. The selected chosen ones.
Hope for it. Wish for it. Pray for it. We will become endless. With evolution's brilliance, will we banish the ever-present darkness of mortality.
Change isn't easy. No one ever wants to take the first step. But This is the right path for us. What other way could there be? I'm gonna do it. I'm going to register.
Wuklemat! You couldn't have come at a better time. Please, you have to let us move to Tuliolal.
It's too dangerous to stay here. Who knows when the next century will turn on us?
Even if we wanted to become endless, there are no more neo-regulators to be had. Fleeing is our only option.
If the solution was as simple as leaving, then we'd all have left already. Did you not hear the announcement? For the living, death is a foregone conclusion. No matter where we go, or who we shelter with, we won't get another chance like this to overcome our fate.
Easy for you to say when you have that regulator.
The Landsguard are on their way as we speak, and arrangements have been made to see that you all will be safely evacuated. Tulichola will aid you in whatever way we can. So please, remain calm.
I want to help Alexandria. I want to save its people. But what can I do? I am not their queen.
Then I guess it's time to become their queen. Calyx has access to the core system, which means that if he chose to do so, he could deploy the soldiers beyond the barrier. Even if our people learn to live with death and decide to leave the dome behind, they will not be beyond his reach. Yet, if it serves to allay their fears even a little, I beg you, Wuklemat, please let them shelter in Tuliolal. We will welcome any and all who want to come. We've already begun evacuations, and we'll be able to pick up the pace once the Landsguard arrives. In which case, we had best spread out and keep an eye on the crowds. The mood is tense, and we must prepare for possible violence. If you happen to determine where Calyx is hiding, though, we'll be ready to move at a moment's notice. Surely we'll find a clue of some sort soon. He can't elude us forever. That's right, if he doesn't have the key to move beyond dimensions, then he can't leave this place. He's gotta be somewhere here. Violence and fear. This is not the future she envisioned for her nature, for her nation. Tuliolal would gladly welcome every last Alexandrian with open arms. But what of the nation the late queen was so desperate to preserve? What of that bright haven of peace and laughter? Wuklemat. I won't stand here and let her legacy be sullied any further. I will protect Alexandria. That was a promise I made her at the last. But she betrayed you, did she not? Why do you feel this obligation? I saw myself in her, I suppose. We both felt the people's joy as our own, yet alone we lacked the strength to protect them. There is so much that I love in this world, too much for me to take in my arms and keep safe. And that made me afraid. I needed someone who could share that love and fear, so together we could do what we couldn't by ourselves. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe I just wish that we could have been friends. So when she turned to me in her final hour, desperate to safeguard Alexandria's future, I swore I would see it done. In the end, I think you both found the friend you needed. I would be yours as well, Sphene. Whenever you fall or struggle to rise, I'll come running to the rescue, and you can do the same for me. That's how we'll protect the things we love. That's how we'll protect Alexandria. You're right. You're right. And don't forget about me. You know, Warrior of Light. How could we? We'd not be where we are now without you. Right, we got a bit sidetracked there. We should probably be on our way. Do a patrol or see if Shale needs a hand? There you all are. Galuja! Ah, splendid. We were afraid we'd miss you. Alice and the others said you were here. Alright, Vixen, enjoy your lurk. Yeah, the Twitch bot needs to be fixed. Good news, Ezekiel. We finally found a chink in Calix's armor. We discovered laboratories on Everkeep's 10th level that once housed a preservation initiative. Containment Complex 10-29 it's called, and it's been falsely registered as a distribution center. In reality, it hasn't recorded any traffic in decades. We don't think that this is where Calix is hiding as such, but it may well contain clues that will point us in the right direction. I'm sorry it took so long to just get this far. If you're interested, what do you say we all go and check it out together? Thank you for all your hard work. This is a huge step forward. And up. We need to take the lift to get to the complex. I've cleared this expedition with the relevant authorities, and have one of our people waiting to operate said lift. Let's not keep her waiting. Is this gonna make me have to get more gear to increase my item level, or what? Please just let me in. Ready to head on up? Next stop, the 10th level. Oh good, it's not a dungeon this time.
So this is one of Preservation's laboratories.
It's so dark I can barely see.
Just a moment. If I can reroute the power to the circuit. You got the lights working! Smell how stale the air is. This room hasn't been in use for many years. It was thanks to Kryl and Galulja that we managed to locate this place.
You may remember that my earring contained the control code for the gate to the Golden City. As it was Preservation that constructed the portal, we reasoned that the code to operate it might include a signature of some sort, unique to their organization.
So I took a closer look, and a line-by-line examination yielded a string of symbols identifying the code's author. We then began accessing the nodes for every door in Everkeep, seeking out control codes which contained those same symbols. After a grueling search, we finally discovered our prize behind door number 1860, the entrance to the facility in which we now stand. I'd probably still be at it if Galulja hadn't been around to assist me.
I took breaks, but Shale never stopped working. Not even once.
You're a treasure, Shale.
I can contribute precious little else, I'm afraid, but I appreciate your kind words. In any case, this next part will require your helping hands.
We need to spread out and search for something that may lead us to Calyx. We're more than happy to help, of course, but I wonder, won't he realize we've found this place?
It's highly likely, and personally I hope he does.
You all know our main objective. We're here to pick up Calyx's trail. And I've learned of a certain device that should help us do just that. I'll explain how as we proceed, but according to the information I was able to dredge up, the device in question should have been installed in the director's office. Now, as for where that might be, yes, this map matches my data. This room we're in is the Researcher's Commons, located in the western side of the complex. The director's office is to the northeast of here. So we should cut across this circular chamber in the middle, yes? Still here? Awesome. Yes, we should, but... we get some nat 20s. Whoa, the wind's really picking up outside. Unfortunately for us, the interior door is locked. Actually, I meant to say this at the beginning of the stream, but I noticed that tomorrow it's going to be down in the 70s. I mean, the high got as much as like 106 today. Vixen. Unfortunately for us, the interior door is locked. We'll need a security key with the appropriate clearance to open it. Judging by the mechanism, it'll probably be a card of some sort. Can't you know, work some electro magic? I'll try my best, but this type of lock is well before my time. It may take a while to crack it. And in case I can't, you might want to look around and see if anyone left a security card behind. Considering the state of the place, it does seem like they'd abandoned it in some haste. I shouldn't be surprised if we found one. A lot of northerly winds shifting down. Good, it needs to cool down around here. Very well, let's get to searching, shall we? I expect we'll have the most luck looking where the researchers kept their personal belongings. You begin searching the containment complex 1029. Close cooperation will be necessary to overcome the obstacles barring your path forward. Helpful hints will appear in a different color. Pay close attention to the information provided by your comrades should you find yourself unable to proceed. Investigation start. The small shelving holds units. The small shelving unit holds some office supplies and little to note. This appears to be the only desk with the drawers already open. You can tell at a glance that the desk's former owner has left some things behind. Yes. You discover a card-shaped object. The electrode surface is marked with a bold Level 1. Oh, could that be what we're looking for? Try it on the door and see if it opens. No, it's not going to be that easy. A scanning device. The card-shaped object you hold looks to be of a similar size to the scanner panel. You hold the card-shaped object up to the scanner. No way, it's not going to be that easy. Oh. It's open. You did it, Ezekiel. And good thing too, I was getting nowhere with that outdated circuit. I am curious though, why would they abandon a facility like this? It was run by Director Demetrius, or so that terminal there told me. Perhaps there are more answers to be had once we venture further inside. Then let's continue onwards. The door to the director's office is across the central hub. I thought they were gonna throw me for a loop like, oh, you actually need level 3 clearance. You hold the level 1 security card up, but the scanner beeps in disapproval. No good? Maybe we need a different card? Yes, the scanner is demanding a level 3 of... a level 3 security clearance to open the lock. Oh, nice going, Merc. Nice going. As much as the delay chased me, we'll just need to comb through the nearby rooms and hope we stumble upon the card we need. Let's start our search in the proto-lab, the door that's already open at least. Yeah, the game heard me. We will find a way through together. Shale, I'm sure of it. Alright, let's go to the proto-lab. There's something in there. The way this room is set up. The canister inserted into that large device looks to be a soul cell. Could this be where they conducted their experiments to create Endless? Ah, but we could probably spend days investigating this complex. Finding a way into the director's office must take precedence. Speaking of which, Galuja mentioned a locker over in the corner that he couldn't open. Perhaps you could take a look. The locker door is shut tight, but the number pad suggests that inputting the correct combination will open it. You have yet to uncover any potential combinations. Perhaps speaking with your comrades will help progress your investigation. It appears to be a researcher's personal data tablet. Today I began my employment at Preservation. The organization was unfamiliar to me, but when the recruitment letter arrived, I had a gut feeling that this work would be far more fulfilling than any orthodox medical practice. My instincts were correct. Master Calix's philosophy is the refined ideal of notions that I've only ever vaguely entertained. that mankind must evolve beyond the shackles of its flesh and blood existence. I had a meeting with Director Demetrius today. I've heard others praise his genius intellect, yet he seems to be but a guttering candle in comparison to Master Calyx's blinding brilliance. This morning I was permitted to access the top floor and observe the workings of living memory. As predicted, the shortage of ether required to sustain the Endless is reaching its critical levels. Yet Queen's Fiend insists on continuing her ineffectual flailing. You're beginning to think the world would be in a better place if you were just in charge of everything. Our Milala colleagues, including the Prolab Chief, have been behaving in a decidedly suspicious manner of late. Should I report my concerns to the Director? From tomorrow, I have been assigned to assist with the research project in the Deutero Lab. We are scheduled to conduct a major experiment, the details of which I have been kept ignorant. It would seem prudent to back up my memory data. And that's the end of the journal research entries. I dug through this data tablet and found a journal. I'll read it to you. The results of experiment 158 show a marked improvement in ether extraction rates. At last, we have achieved the target value set by Master Calyx. Though I will become an Endless as per our ascendancy protocols, I will preserve this historic number along with my few remaining worldly effects. Preserve the number? Aha! 158. Select the number keys on the keypad to input a combination. Enter up to 5 digits and press the confirm key. 158. No. What you got for me, Cryle? This machine feeds into a soul cell. I am reminded of my imprisonment by the Empire. Surely this device wasn't made to hold people. What about you, Sven? It all looks so complicated. I shall have to ask Shale to teach me how to use these machines. Ugh. Shale? Please excuse my impatience. The means to track down Calyx are close, and I'm itching to get my hands on them. Last one to talk to is Wook Lamont. These notes seem to be about the research they did in here. Let's take a look. Experiment 148. Submitting reference or inference candidate 201930 to be considered for efficiency procedure review. That's 6 numbers, not 5. Cryle? Yes, Cryle. Experiment 158. Maximum value of 11509 recorded. Comparative study to be included in the report. Alright then. Oh, and one more. Experiment 163. New proposal produced as a result of 9834. Decreased value verified. Well, I have no idea what any of that means. Maybe it will make sense later on. What was that second one? 11509. One 11509. 11509. 11509. 11509. Nice. The locker pops open. Inside you discover a level 2 security card. Ezekiel, you got the locker open. And you found another security card. Oh, but does that say level 2? We need a level 3, didn't we? Yes, but it should still open more doors for us to explore. You did well, Ezekiel. Hey, y'all. Why wasn't Sauron allowed to design homes? Because he kept adding more doors. These preservation members led such surprisingly normal lives. Leaving notes, losing their cards, I guess I imagine they'd be more, what's the word? Bloodless? Mechanical? My parents were once part of preservation, if you'll recall. It would seem the researchers who agreed with Calyx and his philosophy underwent the conversion to endless entities. Ah, come on! Come on! That was a good pun. But I assume those who could not, or would not, eventually left the organization altogether. Oh, I almost forgot. The researchers kept journals in their data tablets. The one I read doesn't explain much, but something big happened in the complex, and afterwards it was decided that everyone would become endless. The writer was really happy about this. You could tell how much they admired Calyx and his work. The entries ended after that, but maybe you can read more in the other tablet there. Right, let's move this investigation to another room. I think I already read that tablet. Well, we have the Deutero Lab and the maintenance facilities left to search. Both are accessed via the southeast corridor. So it's back to the hub and the locked door across the way, which will hopefully yield before our new security card. I'll take the old one if you like. I doubt we'll have any more use for it. A scanning device that waits silently for a security card with the appropriate level of clearance. Here you go. Yes, it opened. So, where should we go first? The Deutero Lab or the facilities? Let's start with the lab. I'm gonna take another drink of water. Plenty of reading. Shale, there doesn't seem to be any power here. No, not at all. It's possible the energy supply for this room is on a separate conduit, which means there should be a contingency for opening the door. Look here, there's a sign above the card scanner. In case of emergency, backup power can be rerouted from the facilities. The facilities room is down the other branch of the corridor. Let's see about getting the power restored from the to the Deutero Lab, shall we? Hey, Jack Benson, thank you for the follow on Rumble. Welcome to the guild. You're a guildmate now. Thank you. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. All right. We have a circle, a square, a diamond, and a triangle. And it looks like there are buttons in each of the things. Is this gonna be Simon Says? I think it's gonna be Simon Says, y'all. Engaging power supply. No good. It's returning an error. There must be a preliminary procedure. According to this error code reference, if the power supply has been interrupted for an extended period of time, then we need to reconfigure both the emergency power generator and the circuit control panels. Shale? That's the emergency generator over there, isn't it? Yes, and by the looks of it, it's the same model as the one used in Heritage Found. But how does it send power to the other lab? Ah, I see. The energy cable attached to the base of this terminal leads down the hall directly to the Deutero lab, which means we need a way to connect the generator to that cable. What about these patterns on the floor? Could this be the circuit we need to reconfigure? I believe you have the right of it. Using the control panels set in each of the tiles, we create an unbroken path for the power to follow. What I wouldn't give for an instruction manual. Indeed, if you could look around for any written procedures, I'll keep digging through the terminal's directories. Might I also ask someone to operate the generator? I can do it. I've used that type of machine before. Then would you be willing to try and reconfigure the circuit path, Ezekiel? The rest of us can help by supplying Ezekiel with whatever information might be found on security configuration. Circuitry configuration, but... So... put square here. Circle here. Then triangle here. And the last one will be diamond. I'm smart. You have connected all the circuits. Inform your comrades of the successful reconfiguration. That was easy. I thought it was gonna be Simon Says. It worked. We did it, Ezekiel. The Deutero lab should now be fully powered. Well done, everyone. If I may, Shale, could we access the certain data log before moving on? I was checking the storage shelves and one of the labels caught my eye. Preservation, the early days is the title. Of course, it'll only take a moment to bring up the contents. Ah, it looks to be a text-based account. I'll read it out. Preservation, an Alexandrian Institute for Technological Development, was founded by Calix, an 11-year-old child prodigy. Approval for establishing the organization came during Alexandria's involvement in the Storm Surge, with Calix's designs for new defensive solutions funded in large part by the Treasury. As the conflict grew in intensity and casualties mounted, Calix funneled Preservation's resources towards the perfection of memory storage. Research into this field continued even after the Storm Surge came to an end, with Calix eventually electing to preserve his own memories in a virtual domain. You're about to hit your ICRPG group with that It Goes in the Square Hole puzzle. So this account is from before he embraced his endless existence hundreds of years ago. I met him only once before the storm surge began. I was attending my father, who was then the reigning king of Alexandria. Calix could not have been more than 10 years of age and required constant treatment for his debilitating illness. Yet still he published theories so highly regarded that even the royal family was aware of his achievements. Life should not be lost to the injustice of death. Even now I can hear the single-minded will behind those words. So, it was when that war came to our kingdom, my father was quick to commit his unwavering support to this somber youth and his proposals for preservation. Several years later, the ensuing violence brought the death of both my parents. Overwhelmed as I was by my sudden succession to the throne, I suspect they spared me the reports on endless research and other less urgent matters. So you had no way of knowing what kind of person Calix was changing into. Did he change? I wonder. Perhaps he has ever been the type to value ideals over compassion, and I failed to see it in all the time. Or perhaps he did change, but as driven by those same deeply held beliefs, that mortality is cruel and unjust, and his role is to deliver mankind from this fate. Whatever the case may be, we cannot allow him to shape our future. Let's press on, shall we? If I've done my job correctly, the door to the Deutero lab should be accessible now. I'll give everything a once-over just to be sure. More reading. I'm gonna need more drinks of water. The energy current seems stable enough. Still, you should let me handle this one. That's the security card, if you please. Oh, and a quick prayer that a shorted wire doesn't burn me from the inside out. Right, I'll get this door open. Yeah, smooth as silk. Let's head inside and see what awaits. Well, inside is a level 3 security card, but I think I'm gonna have to fight for it. Gods above, isn't that... Wait, isn't that the key? The key to interdimensional fusion? That looks to be a schematic on the monitor. And they've used it to make another key. But isn't it missing the shard inside like the one Ezekiel has? Ah, we may have been laboring under a misconception. The key was originally a Milala relic. Once this treasure came into its possession, Preservation began working to harness the power to cross dimensions. Aside from the crystal, we can see that the vessel's components were constructed here, so what might that tell us? The crystal itself is the key. That would be the logical conclusion. Yes, it is as my parents explained. You just got a weapon that gives you blind sight and dispel any light or darkness spells. Ooh, sounds powerful. The key remains shrouded in mystery. Preservation augmented it with electrope, but never grasped the technology's underlying principles. To this day, not a single person understands the mechanics of interdimensional fusion. Not who imbued the key with its power, not when they did so or why. Your dad called it a shotgun. Now it makes sense. Calyx can track the key because its vessel was made by preservation. As a monk and de facto Sanic, it's a great item to help your party. I believe there is much we may learn in this room. On our next visit, I will have to enlist Ishtola's assistance for a thorough investigation. I too am curious about a great many things, but pinning down Calyx's whereabouts is our priority. Hopefully there is a security card here that grants access to the director's office. The research conducted in this lab appears to have been highly confidential in nature. Some of the personnel must have belonged to the organization's upper echelons, and that means higher security clearance. We should spread out and look for any cards they left behind. Remember, anything less than level 3 is no good to us. We'll probably have to take another level 2 card and fuse it with the one we've got, make level 3. This lone storage crate is filled with document binders and other miscellaneous objects, none of which are security guards. Darn it. You find a security card in a cabinet drawer. Oh, did you just find a security card? Well, that's a stroke of luck. Let's have Shale examine it to be sure. Where is Shale? Oh. Well, if it isn't exactly what we needed. Nice work, Ezekiel. Oh, a level 3. That should get us into the director's office. So, what was it you were hoping to find in there again, Shale? You were saying that a certain device was going to help us. Right, I haven't properly explained myself, have I? I'm looking for a data relay. After we discovered this ostensibly abandoned complex, I performed a cursory investigation which detected a connection to an outside network. When I traced the data's routing, I confirmed traffic from a web of Everkeep's security cameras. Considering the way Calyx is always one step ahead of us, we must assume he's quietly seized control of the city's surveillance system and has been using it to monitor our activities. To monitor what you, as the key holder, are planning. But since Calyx is the ultimate recipient of those transmissions, the flow of data is like a river that we can follow back to him. Which is why I need a data relay. If I can analyze the device and see where it's rerouting all this surveillance data traffic, then you can pinpoint Calyx's position. That said, he has done nothing to impede our progress, which makes me think I might be on entirely the wrong track. Maybe the reason he isn't stopping us is because he can't. Or because he wants us to find him. Back in the old castle, Calyx said he was measuring Ezekiel's strength. What can he possibly dream up that's stronger than him? Oh, speaking of cameras, there was another thing I meant to mention. I found evidence that someone deliberately disabled the surveillance feed in this room. The most recent recording was also crudely deleted. I was able to restore the data though, if you'd like to see it. I'll start the show then.
Are you really planning to leave?
Yes. The idea of eternal life. It's begun to frighten me.
I struggle to renounce our conventional wisdom. Death is the means by which life prunes its branches, leaving the trunk to grow strong and tall. We die so that our species may flourish. What would become of mankind were we to halt that process? If unending stagnation is the fruit of our labor, then perhaps we strive for the wrong thing.
Dude, get a
Your
haircut.
argument is a rejection of Master Calix's vision.
I suppose it is. Perhaps such dread would not plague me, were I capable of sharing his perspective on the subject.
But I cannot. He and I are too different. In too many ways. I lack his extraordinary genius. I had no illness threatening to cut my life short, no singularity of will to cut away all distractions and focus solely upon research.
I have nothing but respect for his determination. The way he overcame his prognosis and seized the means to transcend death itself. But I'm not convinced that this obsession with living is the right path. That's why I've decided to leave preservation and put all my effort towards building a legacy for the next generation to come. Surely you...
Oh, dang.
Protocol, you understand. There can be no exceptions.
She only wanted to leave and he executed her. I checked the images against the personnel data, and the man who pulled the trigger was Director Demetrius himself. Everything I could find on him pointed to a deep infatuation with Master Calix. Ugh. The cameras in this room have been out of operation ever since that incident. Given that the recording was erased, I can only assume he was trying to conceal his grisly deed from the other researchers. I am not surprised, given how my parents described their defection from the Institute. They spoke of rushing me through a portal, even as Preservation's agents closed in on them. I dare not ask what became of them after that, but if it turns out they were captured by the pursuers, and then forced to become endless. They did not regret their actions. Right, the Echo. Knowing you saw them as they were, your words give me great comfort. Oh, Kryl. Worry not, Fiend. Thanks to the Haven of Living Memory, I was at least able to meet my parents and learn what they stood for. It is enough for me to carry on. Even now, we don't know how the conflict unfolded between your parents and Preservation. But what we do know is that your mother and father cleverly expunged every last trace of their movements. They made sure that no one could cross into the source or threaten their child's safety. Right, let's press on, shall we? This tale behind the key deserves a fitting conclusion. To the director's office. A scanning device. It waits silently for a security car with the appropriate level of clearance. You hold the level 3 security card up to the scanner. There we go, let's head inside. Now to find that data relay. And don't be shy, everyone. Speak up if anything odd catches your eye. Ezekiel, come with me. I might have need of that security card. Why don't you just take it from me like you did the previous ones, huh? Darn, this terminal is not connected to any outside networks, so it can't be the data relay I'm looking for. This office is also smaller than the map suggested. I'm positive we're in the right room. What am I missing? A secret door? Sorry, Ezekiel, could I ask you and the others to search the office for any clues to this infuriating puzzle? Amongst other personal effects, you find what is presumably the director's data tablet. A closed locker stands next to the table. Search the locker. The door to the locker swings open easily. Oh my god! It contains nothing of note. You quietly shut the locker door. Oh. Okay. Yeah, no, nothing to see in there. Nope. Nope. I didn't find anything. Nope. Oh god. You pick up the data tablet and begin skimming through the contents. Nothing of note. The mystery of the key's activation condition remains unsolved. The key triggered an explosion today. A temporary interdimensional portal verified. Continue attempts to stabilize the core's energy reactions. 13 researchers sustained fatal injuries in the explosion. Memory faculties of 4 personnel sufficiently intact for endless conversion. Remaining 9 designation for either reclamation processing. Nothing of note. Rejected resignations of 2 Milala researchers. Major incident. Details and full report. Those two inept Milala broke with preservation and absconded with the key. Though the fugitives have since been caught and eliminated, we were too late to recover the relic. Otakon.
It's like one of my Japanese animes.
The only reason we retained our flesh was to serve Master Calyx as physical instruments to conduct his experiments. Deprived of the object of our research, our existence serves no further purpose. I dare not imagine the depths of his disappointment in me. The complex is to be shut down. All personnel will have their bodies reduced to EVA, which will be allocated for further experimentation. Memory data will be archived. Any endless conversions will be subject to Master Calyx's discretion. If he does not deem us as fit, then we are not deserving of eternal life. All personnel have undergone processing. Once the shutdown protocols have been completed, I will proceed with my own corporeal dissolution. Thank you for clipping that, Vixen. As long as the key remains in the physical world, we must keep this complex in pristine condition. Whether it be needed for experiments or otherwise, it must be ready to support future operations in whatever capacity Master Calyx requires. To that end, facility equipment will be maintained in stasis mode. Furthermore, a critical component for secure room access will be stored separately to defend against unauthorized entry. Let's check the beverage station. Having lain dormant for years, a now active coffee maker has already entered a self-cleaning cycle. It appears to have no other purpose beyond brewing coffee, though it remains to be seen when it will be able to do so once more. You know, interestingly enough, I have actually tried giving up coffee for the week. And honestly, I feel better in the mornings and throughout the day. It's only when I get home that I start getting sleepy. You find a crumpled note wedged between the file binders. Secure room lift access. Requires passwords to be input simultaneously at terminals in the Proto Lab, the Deutero Lab, and the Director's Office. Perhaps this discovery will be of interest to Shale. The collection of soul cells may have once belonged to the Director. They appear to be empty. You have located Director Dimitri's personal data tablet and locker space. Take another look. No, we don't need to see that again. Have you found something? Thank you. A misplaced note, was it? With instructions for accessing a secure room, no less. It seems we need to enter a password on 3 different terminals at the same time. There was no such room marked on the map, was there? No, a precaution measure. No doubt. And if passwords are involved, I expect the access lift itself is concealed too. Concealed? By electrope, you mean? Ah, could it be that wall? I thought it seemed odd when I walked past. Remember what Kafkaois used to say, Shale? Never trust an electrope surface. Electrope isn't always what it appears to be. Oh, of course, electrope is how you alter the look of all Solution 9's floors and walls, isn't it? Ooh, you can also make your candle with transparent wax, then coat it with colored opaque waxes. Then carve pretty figures into the outside to let the light shine out, kind of like a jack-o'-lantern. In which case, it shouldn't be too hard to disable. Another door. I've managed to deactivate the projection, but the lock is another story. Didn't that note lay out the password protocol? I say we go ahead and try it. Yeah, Vixen, why do you want to get a candle? I agree. 2 people should prepare the lab terminals for input while the rest of us look for passwords here in the office. I'll take the Pro Lab. Then I'll take the Deutero Lab. Actually, it might be better if you stayed, Steen. Your knowledge of Alexandria and its people could be needed here. Yes, you're right. If the passwords are hiding behind clues, that may be something I can help with. I can help too. I've lived my whole life in Alexandria after all. I will take the Deutero Lab duty then. We can keep in touch via communicator to match our timing. Ezekiel, you shall have the honor of entering the office password. Hydrate? Alright. Here we go. Thank you, Omne. Once we've determined what we need to input, take your place at this terminal. I'll stand by to guide Wuklamat and Kryle through the process. You know, there was that display plate over there, the one with the gems. I thought since it was made of electrope, it might have some other purpose. But I couldn't find any switches or buttons to make it do anything. Maybe you can figure it out. It looks like there's something missing. Two jewels are embedded in this electrode plate. You identify the blue gem as a sapphire, and the red gem as a garnet. There also appears to be an empty slot for another jewel to fill. You have yet to discover enough clues to deduce the passwords. Try exploring the immediate area or conferring with your comrades until you have more information. Alright, Shale. Keep calm and everything will be fine. Both of you are quick studies. Guluja. I kept searching the drawers with the books and found a cube puzzle made of electrope. It's probably just a toy, but maybe. Candle making is a perfectly good hobby. It's fun, it's expressive, and it's practical. You can make wonderful handmade gifts for the whole family. Let's solve the puzzle. You got it. Let's see, if I move this bit, then connect this circuit to that one there. Huh? There was something inside. Oh, it's a pretty green stone. I think it might be Alexandrite. They say these gems were so treasured in the past, they named the kingdom after them. Here, you should hold on to this one just in case. I'll use it right here. Oh? The gemstone fits snugly into place. Almost immediately afterwards, the glowing lines of a diagram appear on display, accompanied by a short phrase. A floor plan of the complex? As you continue studying the display, you realize that these shapes correspond to the rooms of the complex in which you now stand. This may be related to the passwords you were looking for. To be fair, you have gone a candle-making rabbit hole, and you might be getting radicalized. Garnet. The slot contains a garnet. In its place in the floor plan corresponds to the Deutero lab. This slot contains a sapphire. Its place in the floor plan corresponds to the Pro lab. This slot contains an Alexandrite. Its place in the floor plan corresponds to the director's office. You have gathered enough information to attempt entering the passwords. We're all set to go here. Wuklamot and Kryle are just waiting on their passwords. Let's start with Wuklamot in the Protolab. What word should she enter? Protolab was... Sapphire. And a password for Kryle in the Deutero lab. Garnet. And lastly, what will we input for the director's office? Alexandrite. Right, we have all three passwords ready. Now to enter them into the system at the same time. It's returning an error. We must be missing a piece of the puzzle. Maybe Sphene or Galulja has noticed something. Or perhaps the display plate can give us greater insight. The glowing words appear to be handwritten. Yeah, I knew that jewel would come in handy. Let me see. Heed the stones. This must be about the special meanings Alexandrians have for gems. It's an old belief, I think, where each type of gem means something different. I bet if you asked Sphene, she could tell you more about it. After all, even her name comes from a gemstone. Alright, let's ask Sphene. Yes? If you have questions, you need only ask. The symbolism of Alexandrite. Well, I was taught that Alexandrite represents the concept of protection. It is, incidentally, also the origin of Alexandria's name. Oh, are you thinking this has something to do with the passwords? A sapphire and a garnet as well, you say? Yes, they all have meanings. Alexandrite, as I said, is protection. Sapphire represents honesty, and garnet symbolizes devotion. We should try these words at the terminals and see if they are accepted. I certainly hope we're right. Wuklamot gets honesty, Kryle gets devotion, I get protection. And we have door. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that worked. That secure room is the only place we've been yet to search. Or we've yet to search. If the data relay's anywhere, it has to be there. We'll venture in as soon as Wook, Lamont, and Crow rejoin us. Alright everyone, time to board the lift and see what awaits us.
This terminal doesn't look special to me, but this is definitely what we're after?
It is, but whether or not it will suffice for our purposes is another question.
Is that a QR code?
The Endless are created using the memories of the deceased. But as memories are, in essence, collections of data, the resultant entities have no physical form. These data entities, as we might call them, have only two methods for interacting with the material world. One of these we saw in living memory, where the Endless are granted temporary bodies through the use of corporeal ether. They become much like solid ghosts that one can see and touch. The other method, which Kafkiwa employed, is the remote operation of a machine. But where do you suppose the Endless are to be found when not inhabiting a physical body? The Endless are memories, and if memories are data, then...
In a world formed of data?
Yes, we suspect they reside in a virtual domain, one contained entirely within an electrope-based machine. We've seen such a realm before, after all.
Oh, you mean like the Alexandria made from the Endless Fiend's memories? It all seems so real.
So this virtual domain, it would also be housed within the Meso terminal.
But how? I thought we shut down all the terminals in living memory.
You did. And Kafkiwa's program performed just as she intended. The Meso terminal itself was deactivated, as evidenced by the failure of the device which was keeping Spheen's body in stasis. Be that as it may, we face a master of electrope engineering. That he managed to partition and protect a sector harboring his own memories is well within the bounds of possibility.
Let us say that the Meso terminal does indeed contain a second domain, and that Calyx himself resides there. This city, on the other hand, exists here in the source. That being the case, I thought perhaps we could prevent his remote interference by closing the gate to the Golden City, and thus severing the connection between worlds.
Except I tried to close it once already when I visited living memory. The process required administrative authorization, a restriction I assumed at the time had been imposed by the Queen.
But now you think Calyx might be responsible.
Just as I suspected. Even now, security transmissions from throughout the Keep are being tapped by the core system and routed elsewhere. Almost every single one has you as its focus. He's keeping track of the keyholder's movements.
Time's up, and what a waste of time it's been. Hoping to find me by tracing security data. That will not be necessary. Through a not inconsiderable effort, I've taken your measure and prepared a force sufficient to subdue you. Come. I invite you to the upper reaches of the Meso terminal. The storage device which holds my memories is there. Break the memory bank and victory is yours. I, in turn, will seek to wrest the key from you with any and every means at my disposal.
And if we refuse this invitation?
I will wait and continue to convert Alexandrians into Endless. Consider the urgency of the situation and make the wiser choice.
Answer me one question, Calyx. The Endless Fiend. When she was queen, you had her face an impossible task, then manipulated her into using the key when she was at her most desperate. If you can do all that, then why not whisk it away when her plans went to ruin? Why let it fall into our hands?
We pour salt in the wound. That disaster was a miscalculation on my part. As her end drew near, Sphene and her restructured memories had become one with the terminal's control systems. In that singular place, in that singular moment, she wielded an authority greater than mine. Thus she was able to shield you, the neighboring sovereign to whom she entrusted her nation's future, and the hero to whom she entrusted that priceless key. I am unsure to what degree she perceived my presence, but she knew that someone was watching. Does that satisfy your curiosity?
It does. And I'm satisfied that you will take nothing more from this nation. Not one more life, not one more future, not one single smile from another child's face. You hear me? Sorry for losing my temper. But there's only one way we can deal with people like Calyx. Whatever grand future he envisions, someone will be made to pay the price. And I won't let that happen.
I'm with you.
If I may, I realize it is not my place to say this. Even so, I must thank you both. On behalf of my other self, Allow me to say how grateful I am to have you as our champions.
Phew, well, that was an adventure. It may not have been by the method Shale was hoping for, but at least now we know where to find Calyx and what we need to do next. Indeed, while I remain curious about Preservation's research into the key, that is an investigation for another day. Then let's head straight to the back room. We should get everyone on the same page before we make our move. Darn that jerk Calyx. He waited until I was this close before snatching away my moment of triumph. And that infuriating, condescending way he spoke to us. We'll see whose time is up, you smug little weasel. Anyway, I know things didn't go to plan, but we learned a great deal about preservation. That knowledge could come in handy in the days to come. Though I may not be able to contribute much to a direct confrontation, I mean to see this through with you all, providing whatever support I can. Ezekiel. We've briefed Airville on everything that has happened and sent word to the others. We've now but to consider what our next actions will be. Calyx has offered you the opportunity to confront him directly. And though it feels much like striding face first into an ambush, we have little choice. If we are to destroy the memories he supposedly has stored in the upper reaches of the Meso Terminal, and that is where we must go. While I'm still upset being deprived of my moment, I nevertheless did my due diligence. I can confirm that the relay we found was indeed transmitting surveillance data to a device somewhere in living memory. We have our revenge on Calyx. We will melt him down like a common votive candle. When you go to fight Calyx, pray, let me fight alongside you. Let me fight for the memory of Otis and Zelenia, and for the other Sphene I may have become, but most importantly, for my beloved kingdom and a joyful tomorrow. It has always been your fight as much as ours, if not more. Thank you for understanding what this means to me. I'll be coming with you as well. You know my reasons. It hardly needs saying, but your fellow scions also have every intention of accompanying you into battle. So adamant were Alice and the others on this point that they have already left for living memory. I am more than ready to do the same. I'll keep patrolling the streets for signs of trouble, especially from anyone wearing neo-regulators. Should you need anything from me, I'll be on standby here in the back room. I really want to go with you too, but I know I can't. I know that sometimes you have to be patient and trust in your friends. Oh, Ezekiel, Kryl and I think that we should talk to Gosan before we leave for living memory. Under Calix's direction, preservation has helped shape Alexandria's society for centuries. Taking him down will have serious consequences, and we need to warn the officials in charge about what we intend. Justifications aside, we shall be acting against the wishes of all who desire to become endless. Exactly. We don't know if Gosan will approve or oppose our chosen course. But either way, leaving without a word is the wrong thing to do. Come, we should be on our way. Resolution first, yes? Be safe, everyone. We'll see you when it's over. Ooh, that's a strong gust of wind right there. We'll go ahead and take the Ethernet shard to resolution.
I see. A difficult situation. In the absence of an official sovereign, I agree that it is not Preservation's place to dictate the future of our nation. However, I also cannot simply take a side and declare my support for your efforts to defeat Calix.
Is that because of the new regulator you wear?
I've yet to register it. I find myself caught between the fear of dying and the desire to carry out the duties of governance. My greatest concern is how we shall stem this ever-increasing terror of mortality when becoming endless is no longer an option. And that's to say nothing of the recent slaughter committed by our own soldiers. The fact that such violence was perpetrated for the very purpose of creating endless will, paradoxically, make it more difficult to endorse your chosen course. It may not seem logical, but for those who lost friends and family in the attacks, halting the creation process altogether would render the deaths of their loved ones utterly meaningless. Is it not cruel to rob them of what little solace they could claim, when we have only just learned what it is to mourn? Tell me, how are we meant to overcome such tragedies?
We stop begging others to teach us, for a start. For the longest time, we've been protected by Queen Sphene and the systems put in place by our forebears. The hardships and responsibilities of life were distant things, and we felt entitled to our comforts, even as we barely noticed those who risked everything to keep us sheltered. But no more. From now on, we need to learn on our own. How to live with the promise of death. how to endure the pain of loss. We may never learn to love such things, but we may learn to survive them. The people beyond the barrier, even the Alexandrians of old, they've all had to live with these fears. There's no reason we can't do it too.
What are you all doing here?
Malachite called us in, and the Oblivion members briefed us on the current crisis. You don't stand idly by while your house burns down. We came together and thought about how we could help. Long story short, we've decided to join the fight alongside Oblivion. I say fight, but we're well aware of how little use we'd be in actual combat.
A battle of ideas, on the other hand. Now that we might be qualified to do something about. We'll talk to our neighbors and do our best to quell their fears. Convince them to make the most of this life and enjoy all it has to offer. Perhaps that will help to ease your burden.
It certainly will. Even if a few are assuaged by your words, it will make things easier.
Those who have already registered will be difficult to sway, but there are still many who waver. Those are the ones we'll concentrate on.
Gossan, if you truly care for the people of Alexandria, then now's the time to start thinking of ways to prevent more deaths.
Were I to become endless at the expense of my countrymen's lives, I would regret it for the rest of my existence. Forgive my weakness. When the people have lost their way, it falls to the government to support and guide them. Alexandria can rise above this sorrow and find its way forward once more. Is that not so, Your Majesty?
Oh, he knew.
Indeed it is. No, that wasn't... what I meant to say was...
Calm down, Sphene.
Lamity, you used her name.
Oh well.
The perfect resemblance to our beloved Queen Sphene has not escaped our notice. Yet we also understand that you are not her. Having to live in secret, unable to share who you really are, that must have been hard on you. When you come back, please tell us all about yourself. I imagine yours is a rather outlandish story, but we're eager to hear it all the same. You're one of us, an Alexandrian, and we don't abandon our own.
The hood's coming off!
I promise to return. And when I do, I look forward to speaking with you all.
Everyone was so warm and welcoming. Alexandrians are, as ever, a stalwart people. How glad I am to be home. Thank you, Ghost-san. That decision must have been difficult to make. If only I could claim the courage to do this so... if only I could claim the courage to do so came from within. The final push came from Alexandria's citizens, and their bravery in taking the first step towards change. Speaking of which, can I ask you to lock that neo-regulator away where no one can get to it? That should prevent the registrations from reaching the target number. I should be glad to do so, but I fear it would be to no avail. According to our most recent surveys, the number of neo-regulators in circulation exceeds the stated 5,000. I surmise the surplus of units are to account for all those, like myself, who have had a change of heart or are otherwise hesitant to register. Ah, that does sound like something Calyx would do. Well, we'll have to face him either way, so no point in delaying the inevitable. On to living memory.
Things seem much the same.
So listen, you have nothing more to fear than any other normal day. Deep breaths. We'll get through this.
You'd be telling them much the same if you were here. I suppose it falls to me now.
Ooh, strong wind. Need to speak with Ishtola at Laynode. Nemo. Ah, okay. There she is. Ah, 'tis good to see our comrades hale and girded for battle. As for us, we've been ahead to inspect the lay of the land. There were no changes of note, aside from with the Meso terminal itself. Why? What's happened to the Meso terminal? The wall has receded to provide a convenient entrance into the structure's interior. There was no such ingress when last we were here, so we must assume that Calyx has since manipulated the terminal's electrode. All to facilitate his most gracious invitation to the upper levels. An invitation I am eager to accept. For the sake of all who love Alexandria, I will not yield nor leave them to despair. I believe everyone determined to be here is present and accounted for. Shall we make our way to the terminal? We wouldn't wish to keep our insistent hosts waiting. It's already 9:17. I might have to save this final battle for the next week. Well, here we are again, facing another battle to decide Alexandria's fate. For 4 centuries I slept here. Upon awakening, I found the world as I knew it had changed. I was so frightened at first I couldn't recognize a single thing, and thought everything I loved had gone to dust. Yet beneath the unfamiliar surface, much remained the same. For that, I give thanks to Otis and Zelania and their royal knights, who lay their lives on the line to defend our way of life. I thank every Alexandrian who believed in our future and passed on our legacy. I thank my other self who so loved this kingdom of ours. And I thank you all for killing this hope in my heart, this courage to take up arms and fight once more. So let us make our stand together and fight for what we hold dear. The kind and gentle Queen Sphene was too weak to serve her people, and so she will serve them no more. Freed from conscience, I shall become a ruler that can protect Alexandria, a devourer of worlds. Together, excuse me. Together we stand, together we fight. You have my gratitude, and surely Otis and Zelenia will join us in spirit. Let's head inside and finish this. In the upper reaches of this terminal awaits the device which holds Calyx's memories. It falls to us to make the climb and destroy it once and for all. Aye, we must bring matters to a definitive end. We'll not suffer him to cause Alexandria further harm, nor claim the key. The Queen entrusted to Ezekiel for good reason, and besides, 'twould be a tragedy indeed to relinquish a relic with so much research potential. Now, apparently, Calyx thinks he's taking your measure. I urge you to correct that misguided assumption. I wholeheartedly concur, yet would still counsel caution. That he would be so bold as to extend us an invitation bespeaks tremendous confidence in his preparations. Come, friends, we set forth into the midst of dreaming endless. And we'll have to take care of that next time. Alright, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out to watch. Really do appreciate it, as always. We'll make sure to pick this back up the next time we play this next week. And who knows, maybe that'll be the end of the main story content, or perhaps another update will come along and extend the story. Either way, I'm looking forward to the exciting conclusion of this tale. But with that being said, we must now make our preparations for the end of stream, get to the closing prayers, and raid out. As you all know, I will not be having a stream tomorrow, as it will be family dinner night. But I shall return on Thursday at 6:30 for more Remnant 2 with Vixen and Creeper. Thanks for the stream, Zeke. Thanks for stopping by and watching, Biscuit. I always do appreciate it. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and do the closing prayer, and then we'll find our raid targets. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you to thank you for another wonderful stream, to thank you for everyone who came out to watch, and just another day where we can all get together. Lord, we just continue to lift up the niece of Thornajaw to you, asking for your continued protection over her and blessing as she is in and out of the hospital with infections but not resting at home. Lord, please protect her from further illness and allow her to be restored according to your perfect will. Lord, we continue to ask for protection of Creeper's heart from his inner demons. Lord, just continue to work in his life and continue to safeguard him from any dark and evil thoughts. Lord, I just want to lift up our friend Gwydion Wolf to you, who seems to be suffering from a bit of sickness, whether it might be viral or allergies. We ask that you please bring him relief and bless him with health. And Lord, I just ask for your strength to continue on in this week as we get closer to the end of the month. Lord, I trust in you. I trust in your perfect plan for me. And I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings, Lord. And thank you for giving me the wisdom today to be able to fix my truck. Let's see. Do I have any more personal prayers? I do not. Okay, none that I can remember at this time. Now, on to the general prayers. Lord, we ask that you please continue to bless the men and women of America. Please continue to give us blessings with our physical strength, our mental strength, and our spiritual strength. Continue to bless us and protect us as we continue forward. And Lord, please continue to bless the veterans of this country. May they be known, seen, and heard. Lord, we thank them for their sacrifices and continue to protect us and keep our country safe. And Lord, we ask that you please continue to unify us going forward under your Son, Jesus the Christ. And let us all remember the teachings that he has provided us. And speaking of which, Lord, please continue to guide anyone who is currently searching for your Son Christ through their own methods. Lord, let them come to know and understand the gospel, understand your Son's teachings, and let them come to know you. Let them bask in your wisdom, let them bask in your grace and mercy, and let them grow strong. And let us become not just a country, but a world unified under the banner of Christianity. Let us re-embrace our Christian traditions. And going forward, let us reclaim our morality, and let us reclaim goodness, mercy, love, patience, and kindness, and generosity, and charity. Lord, make us a people that you can be proud of. Guide us, protect us, and direct us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. That was ad-libbing it there at the end. Amen. Okay, let's find our target on the Rumble side. Let's see. Yesterday we raided Nomi. So today looks like we got Scavenger. What's Scavenger playing? Oh boy, I better hurry this up quick. The winds are getting strong. Master of Commands. Roguelike total was with Scav. Huh. Red Crow. Oh, looks like he's playing the Civil War. So we'll go ahead and raid Scavenger. Ooh, wind's getting strong. And who do we have on the Twitch side? Pixel has already started doing Awakening, but we raided her yesterday. Amen. If you get time sometime, could you send a prayer for continued health for your kidney? Doesn't need to be a recurring thing, just once would be much appreciated. Of course, Biscuit. I'd be happy to. Let's see. I think I'll raid Saber Raimu tonight on Twitch. Just had your 9th kidneyversary and it's still going strong. Nice! Okay, Biscuit. As a matter of fact, I know what you're going through because my sister and one of her daughters had to have a kidney transplant too. So, yeah, I'm happy to hear that you're doing well. Alright, gotta hit the hay now. You're out. Good night, Vixen. Let's see. Saber is playing Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete. Nice. So we'll go ahead and send her a raid. Saber Raimu. And we'll go ahead and start that. I remember you telling you that. Remember them both in prayer too. Awesome. Okay, everyone. As usual, thank you all once again for coming out to watch. Really do appreciate it. And I will see you all again on Thursday. But until the next time, eat well, sleep well, stay happy, healthy, cool, and safe. Stay hydrated and keep your friends, family, and loved ones in your prayers always. And I'll see you all again next time. But until then, bye-bye.